Whoops. Hey, and welcome everybody to Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And yes, we're changing around things just even more all the time. It seems like we're always changing things around this show, but that's all right. It's kind of what we do, and hopefully everything will work out just fine. Welcome everybody. It's Monday, and if you were here with us over the weekend, you probably saw something that I thought was pretty cool. I tend to think that I am a big race car fan, guys. Probably more than most people. I love racing, especially my favorite race car driver is Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis Hamilton, Formula One race car driver, has been doing this for a number of years now, and he has not only set records, but he is also he's just a bad boy, and he is, and some people don't realize how good this guy is until yesterday. And so what happened yesterday? So Lewis has COVID, so he tested positive for COVID, and so he was not going to race this week. He races for Mercedes. He generally wins every race, and not by a little bit, folks. A lot, not just a lot. That wasn't good. Oh. So when so him being out of a race, people, they have their own way of thinking about things, and they say, well, you know what, the reason why Lewis wins is because they spend so much time and money on him and blah 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 blah. Well, they had somebody fill in for Lewis Hamilton yesterday at this Formula One race. Today I'm going to tell you, today we're actually going to be talking about failure. So we're going to be talking about embracing failure. So we will get to it, don't worry, we're actually going to get to that. But I'll just tell you a real quick story. So Lewis was out with COVID, and they had another guy stand in for him at this race. The other guy qualified second, so he starts the race. He gets in the lead fairly quickly with Lewis Hamilton's car. So he's driving Lewis Hamilton's car. And the guy who normally comes in second place is in second place. And they're driving. And the commentators are like going, you know what? See, this guy right here, he's just as good as Lewis, and he's British guys, right? And and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I can almost guarantee you something is going to happen in this race, because Lewis could start and end up wrecking, get back on the track, and then still win the race. That's how good this guy is. There's been a couple of race car drivers that are that way. A guy named James Stewart, who used to race motorcycles, was exactly the same way. Just crazy fast, crazy great skills. So, like I said, the kid who was taking over Lewis Hamilton's spot was in first place, and he literally led the entire race. I mean, it's an 87 lap race. They're just buzzing all over the place. He's leaving everybody in dust, and then, yeah, I know it's coming. All of a sudden, somebody wrecked or something happened, and all of a sudden, you could see things going badly for this kid who is racing in Lewis Hamilton's car. Okay, fastest car out there, generally has the best driver out there, but people are not giving Lewis the props that he's normally due. So, make a long story short, the kid who was racing in Lewis Hamilton's car ended up coming in 10th place in this race with the fastest car. So, and the guy who normally comes in second place to Lewis came in 8th place in the race. So the moral of the story is this: don't discount Lewis Hamilton, because he's the bad boy. Okay, anyways, that was my story, and that was quick. Anyways, we're going to talk today about embracing failure. Before we do that, Black Success Magazine, really, we're our magazine itself is coming out in just a little over a week or so. Just a little over a week. We're launching mid-December. If you'd like to advertise in Black Success Magazine, you still have time. So just send me an email at info. We've changed the email address. It's info at blacksuccessmagazine.com. So info at blacksuccessmagazine.com, and say, Sherm, I'd like to advertise in Black Success Magazine, and we will actually get you on there. But you don't have a lot of time. So I've sent out some emails to a very few people, and we wanted you to be a part of this inaugural launch of Black Success Magazine. Very excited about it. We have been working really hard to bring on more people to be a part of the show, and to be a part of the magazine and the organization. So we're doing some real cool things. And so, matter of fact, well, I won't tell you about it, but I'll just tell you this. We do have some really cool stuff that's coming up down the pike. And if you thought that we were kind of doing some cool things now, you'll be really surprised that we're going to be doing even more stuff in the future. So let's talk about 6 tips to help you find empowerment through failure. And so, many of us during COVID have been starting new businesses. I know I have. I just closed a restaurant in almost a year ago. And so we're all in the same boat, folks. So I'm starting a new business, a new venture in life. And the hardest thing about starting any kind of endeavor is getting over the fear of failure, because it's going to hurt. You know that what you're going to be doing is just tough. So, and a lot of people, because of that fear of failure, will back off. They just won't do it. Or fear of COVID, or fear of this, or fear of anything, it just gets them back. And so we're going to talk about 6 tips on how to embrace failure. Tell you the truth, you can't be fearful of it. You just can't be. And I'll just give you kind of a preemptor there. Being fearful of failure is not going to do you any good. It's just not. It's going to immobilize you. But there are some great ways to get over it, and let's talk a little bit about that. Oh, did I even start this? No, I didn't. Okay. Number 1, be prepared. The first step in embracing failure is acknowledging that it could happen at any moment. Okay, at any moment, that crap could just hit the fan. Of kind of like how the race was yesterday that we were talking about in Formula One. That even though you have the fastest car on the track, at any moment, crap could hit the fan. Let me give you an example of this, and be prepared for it. You need to have a contingency plan. If the thing that you're trying to work on, it hits the skids, crap hits the fan or something like that, you need to be ready to say, okay, I've got to shift, or I've got to move. This is what happened in this race, and I guess I'm glad I brought up this race, because it's a real good illustration of what Mercedes did not do. Okay, so during the race, pit stop time comes along. Mercedes has 2 cars in the race. They bring in the kid. His name is George Russell. They bring him in, and right behind him, they bring in their other car at the same time. Okay, they call it stacking in racing. So you'll get a Formula One tutorial here. So they bring in George Russell. They change his tires. He's gone. They bring in the next guy, literally within a second of him. They put him in, and then something's going on. Something wrong happened. What happened? Well, one of the guys who was changing the tires notices he's putting on the wrong tire on this guy's race car. But by now you've got 6 or 7 guys around this car, and nobody knows what to do. Everybody's kind of going, what the heck just happened? This never happened before. Crap does hit the fan. They were not prepared. So what happened? They had to jack the car back up again, put new tires on him again, and even when they did that, they put old tires on his car. So they took off what they were supposed to do is put on new tires. They put on old tires on this guy's car, and not only have they done that, but the first guy that came in to get tires on, they put the wrong tires on his car. So he had to go around once and then come back in and stop again. I think 5 or 6 laps later, they said, look, you've got to change these tires. And that is ultimately what made him lose that race, because he was going to win. There's no doubt about it. He had the fastest car. He was doing everything right, but they were not ready. In business, you've got to be ready. In life, you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready that something's going to happen at some point. Money falls short. People don't fulfill contracts, whatever. You've just got to be ready that something is going to happen in life. Number 2, don't let fear rule you. Okay? If left unchecked, fear can play a crippling mind game on you. If your fear of making a mistake prevents you from moving forward, it will cost you more than the actual mistake ever could. Avoid rationalizing fear and saying things like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for the right time," or procrastinating can lead to lost opportunities and self-doubt. Sometimes fear can drive you to the right or to the left because you're fearful something's going to happen. I mean, something in life is going to affect me. I'll be embarrassed. So what I'll do is I'll just stop. I'll wait. I'll wait for the right opportunity. And that really, it could actually be even worse than the fear of you making a mistake could have ever happened. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could have done in life, and you just make mistakes on it, and so you just kind of go on. But you not taking action, you not moving when you're supposed to, or you not taking advantage of a situation, was probably worse than what the fear could have ever happened to you. Let's say in the race that we were talking about yesterday, that happened, that Lewis Hamilton wasn't in. Sorry. Let's say Mercedes decided that they just weren't going to have anybody race in Lewis Hamilton's place. Okay? Well, they would have never gotten any points out of the race. Now, they didn't win. Neither one of their guys won, but at least they got valuable points for the race. If they had not let the guy in the race, they wouldn't even gotten any points. So that could have been one of those moments where it could have just been a terrible ordeal for them. And that's something you don't want to do. You don't want fear to debilitate you. And every startup or every business has to go through that, where you're just fearful. You're fearful, if I do this, I'm gonna screw something up. Yeah, you're gonna screw things up, guys. I screw up things every day, literally every day. Even I could tell you of something I have already done this morning that I probably shouldn't have done, but I did it anyways, because you know what? I embrace mistakes. I embrace failure because I learn from those failures. Even in that race that we're talking about, Formula One race, what Mercedes just found out is that they have a backup driver who could actually take the place of the second place guy, who normally is always in second place to Lewis Hamilton. They just found a new guy, and everybody knows it. And now that guy knows it. Guy knows it too. He actually did a great job. I got to tell you, he did a great job. He's just no Lewis Hamilton, because I love Lewis Hamilton. Okay, come on, that's just me. So don't let fear rule you, though, in life. Don't let fear of falling and failing rule your life, because it can be debilitating. Let's go on to number 3. Don't dwell on any mistakes. Oh, dear Lord, mistakes. There's an old adage that says, when you fall off a horse, get back on. Get back on that horse. And that really, there's a lot of truth in that adage that if you fall down and you make a mistake, don't dwell on it. Get back in there and get going, folks. You don't have time for that. You just don't have time. This is going to be one of those race car days, I can tell. Because I love racing. I really do. There's nothing more thrilling than watching guys get out there and just go for it. It really is. These are some most talented, most fearless guys in the world. And can you imagine what would happen if a guy wrecked his car and then all of a sudden he says, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with racing. I'm too scared. I failed. Okay, well, yeah, everybody fails. In that race that I watched yesterday, I saw at least 18 drivers who were racing fail. At some point, the guy who won the race, I'm going to tell you this is cool. All right. The guy who ended up winning the race, the actual race itself, after the first lap, was in dead last. After the first lap, there were 20 cars that started the race, 21 cars that started the race. On the first lap, 3 of them wrecked and were out of the race. The guy who ended up winning the race was in dead last after the first lap. Can you imagine what would have happened if this guy said, you know what, I'm done. Nah, I'm just too scared. I'm just, I'm gonna fail. So this is by the middle of the race, he was up to 10th place. And it was only by sheer coincidence the racing gods shined down on this guy that in the last 10 laps there was a major wreck and he slid around everybody and got into first place. Okay, so that was great. It was wonderful. I mean, it was just great, and everybody's jumping up and down. So here's a couple more things that I want you to get you going. This guy doesn't even have, so the end of the race season, every year, race car drivers have to either create a contract with somebody to race for somebody or whatever. And of all of the people who were on that racetrack, guess who did not have a contract to race next year? Guess which one of these race car drivers did not have a job for next year? That's right, the guy who won. The guy who won did not have, and still does not have, a contract to race next year, and he won the race. And guess who else? And this year, guess who beats Lewis Hamilton? Nobody. So nobody else even wins. Lewis Hamilton wins all the time. Him or the guy who's in second place who's on his team always win. Let me give you another one. The guy who won had not won a race in 190 races. 190 races, folks. How many people out there would have quit after like 20? After 10? Okay? 190 races this guy had spent trying to win a Formula One race, and he never won. He could have dwelled on those mistakes. He could have just quit. The guy's name is, Perez, his last name. I forgot the guy's first name. He's a Mexican driver. A Mexican driver has not won a Formula One race. The last one, or the first one was in 1962. The last one was in 1970. It has been literally 60 years. It's been a long time. I mean, since 70. Well, you know what I mean. It's been 50 years since a Mexican race car driver has won. They could have dwelled on all of the things that had gone wrong with them over the years and said, no, Mexican race car drivers just never win. We never win. No, he didn't. He just kept going. He's in last place after the first lap. Generally, if you're in last place after the first lap, you're going to end up being in second to last. You're not going to pass anybody because they're just that good. They're just that fast. This guy ends up winning the race. My gosh. So don't dwell on your mistakes. Okay, dwelling on your mistakes can actually get you to focus more on the mistakes than on moving forward in life, and you can't do that. Number four, stay positive. As difficult as the experience of failure can be, and it can be. Sometimes you're hitting your head against the wall. You know, you're playing for the New York Jets. Oh, I'm sorry, I said that out loud. It's important that you look for the silver lining in every situation. I'm writing a 365-day primer for people, for you. And you can actually get a copy of that. It'll be great. It should be done a couple more weeks. Should be done with that. Negative self-talk can be the most detrimental thing that you can do to yourself, because we all do it. We all just say things. We go around and we say, you know what, I'm just stupid. I'm an idiot. You know, I can't do anything right. I'm just one of those guys. And we cannot get into that mode where we're saying negative things. We have to be, as a matter of fact, today we shifted directions right at the last minute. We were going to actually do a show on teaching your mind to see the positive in every situation. But we decided to really go in this direction. But it is really, it's so important for you as an entrepreneur, as a dad, as a mom, as somebody who's just living in life, to try to see the positive in every situation. If we go around looking for the negative in life, we're going to find it. There's no doubt about it. You're gonna find it. And we've talked about this before. There's this theory called the law of attraction. The law of attraction, and really, what the law of attraction is what you think about comes towards you. If I say yellow Volkswagen to you, you're gonna look for one today, and you'll probably find it. That same Volkswagen has been driving by every single day for years, and you never noticed it. The law of attraction really is nothing more than your mind being attuned to whatever you're talking about. And if you talk about negative things all day long, I mean, if you're always saying, I'm an idiot, I'm stupid, oh, bad things happen to me all the time, you are going to tend to notice those negative things all the time. And positive things might be happening to you all day long, but you're not looking for that. You're looking for the negative things. Your mind has gotten you geared to looking for negative. So there's a biblical saying. It says, hey, whatever things are noble, whatever things are beautiful, whatever things are of a good report, think on those things. Your mind needs to stay positive, dwell on, look for the good in everything. There's always good in everything you see. There might be bad things that happen to you, but you're not looking for that. You're like a diamond miner. We've talked about this before. You're like a diamond miner. Diamond miners are very interesting fellows in that they have to dig through tons and tons and tons of dirt. But they're looking for diamonds. That's all they care about. They come home at the end of the day, they've had a great day. 99.9% of their day has been digging in dirt. They don't care about that because they found that diamond. That's what you're looking for. In a startup, in business, in life, you're not looking for the negative. There's negative all around us. Okay, there's air all around us too, but we're not looking for that either, right? We're looking for positive things. So stay positive in life. If you liked this so far, folks, I really appreciate it. I'm Sherman Ray. Just remind everybody, Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine. We are launching our magazine, our digital edition. If you like a copy of our digital edition of our Black Success Magazine, send me an email at info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. That's info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. And we'll get that in your mailbox when it comes out. If you'd like to advertise for Black Success Magazine, love to have you be a part of that also. Just send me an email at info@blacksuccessmagazine.com, and it's free. We'll get that in your, excuse me. If you'd like to advertise, it's not free for you to advertise. If you'd like to advertise for Black Success Magazine, you don't have a lot of time. You really don't. I just had some people do some inquiries in the last couple of days. We're going to cut that off in just a couple more days because it just takes a lot of time to finalize all this stuff. We really would like to get this out and get people just excited about it. Got some great articles. And so send me an email, info@blacksuccessmagazine.com, and we will get you going. We're talking today about embracing failure. And we've gone through four tips on failure. And what time is it? Because I want to make sure we don't run out of time here, folks, because this could get ugly really quick here. What time is it here? Oh yeah, we're gonna run out of time. So let's talk about taking responsibility. Take responsibility. Admitting that you messed up is a tough pill to swallow. Since I never mess up, well, no, I do. I mess up all the time, and I will freely admit that. None of us wants to admit that we were wrong, especially when other people are counting on us and on our leadership or our expertise. That said, taking responsibility for your actions is also the key to moving past your failure. Be the first one, folks. It is tough. It is tough to say I was wrong. I was wrong in what I did. I was wrong in what I said. I was wrong in, like, even when I roasted my coffee this week. I did a bad job on it. I got to tell you, I did a terrible job on it. But you've got to be able to say, I'm done with that. Because I want to do it again. I'm not going to just stop roasting coffee. When you don't take responsibility, you're almost compounding the hardship or how tough it is for you to come out and say, okay, I want to heal and I want to move forward. But you're just saying, okay, I was right. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just right. And you can't. It's hard to move past that because you're like lying to yourself. Don't lie. Just say, okay, I was wrong. Let's get going. Let's get past this. Let's get going in life because life is too short to spend your time dwelling on this stuff. Have a short memory when it comes to failure. Now, it's not like you're going to not deny the fact that you screwed up something. Okay, you want to learn from those things. You always want to learn from your failures because you don't want to repeat those things. But you don't want to spend, as we said before, you don't want to spend the time dwelling on it. You want to take responsibility for it and say, okay, what did I learn from that? Let's pick this, let's pick that, let's pick this, and let's get moving forward and get on with life. And lastly, folks, learn from your mistakes, as we were talking about before. Learn from your mistakes. Some of the greatest lessons I've ever learned have come through failure. When I was learning how to run a marathon, when I was learning to start a business, I learned some things that were right. I learned some things that were wrong. Creating partnerships with people. You learn some things and you just kind of go, nope, not going to do that. Nope. You learn a lot from it. You can't learn from, I hate people who are trying, I shouldn't say hate. I feel sorry for people who are always trying to be perfect all the time. It is because you don't learn anything from that. My grandson, who is 6'5" now, 16 years old. No, he just turned 17. Quarterback. And one of the things that I love watching him do is he plays for a team that is not a great team. They don't have the greatest players. But he, as a quarterback, is learning a lot playing on a really terrible team. because he's learning how to, one, think a lot faster because he's got to get rid of the ball, right? He can't just throw the ball, and he doesn't have great receivers, so he can't just chuck the ball down the field and expect his guys to catch it. We were watching him Saturday, and let me make sure I've got enough time here to tell this story. I love my stories. Do I have time? Yeah, I think I've got time. Let me make sure. Yeah, well, I'll cut something out. So, grandson is playing against another team. The other team, great team. I mean, it's not a bad team at all. Well, we played against 4 teams last Saturday. Their quarterback fades back. He throws it down the field. I mean, all the way down the field. They score a touchdown. Woo-hoo. My grandson's team comes up, 5 yards here, 7 yards there, 5 yards here, 7 yards here. Up, touchdown. Okay, who do you admire more? The kid who had to pluck downfield 5-10 yards. Okay, guess what? Because you're learning something there. You're learning from mistakes. You're learning what works, what doesn't work, because you're taking your incremental steps. A guy who throws it down the field and scores a touchdown, even if he does it every single time, is not learning anything. Only thing that he is learning is, hey, guess what? If I've got a receiver who can catch the ball, I throw it down the field as far as I can, he might catch it. Okay? You're not learning anything that way. And I told my grandson this. I said, look, dude, you might play on a really terrible team, but you are learning so much. You're learning to read the defenses. You're learning how to get the ball right to your receivers. And when you're failing in life, you're learning a lot. But we need to learn from those mistakes. Don't just let those mistakes go out and then try to forget about them. No, learn from them. Say, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? You know, and that's how you embrace failure in life. Okay, we're done. I ran over time, and I'm done. So, anyways, folks, once again, if you'd like a copy of Black Success Magazine, it's coming out in just a couple, actually less than 2 weeks. Send me an email. info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. Okay, that's the only way you're going to get it. Also, if you would like to be an advertiser and you don't have a lot of time for that, send me an email. And once again, info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. It's info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. You can get a copy of this podcast. This podcast, we're all over the place. And now we're available on Apple Podcasts, which is great. So which means if you have one of those Alexa smart speakers, all you have to do is say, hey, Alexa, want to hear Black Success Magazine, the podcast, and it'll come up. I mean, it's pretty cool. We're global now, which is really cool. And listen to us. Take us with you. Take us with you wherever you go. Okay. This has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. We'll be back again tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning. Same black time, same black station. Thanks, folks, for once again for being a part of the show. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. Folks, have a wonderful, wonderful time. We'll talk to you later.